So, as I said, we're going to discuss the Bill of Rights. I'm glad to hear that you guys know something about the Bill of Rights. Before I hand this out, we're going to, have you ever done a KWL chart?
Nope.
That is what I already know before we even get started on the lesson. What do I know? Our topic is going to be Bill of Rights. What do I already know about the Bill of Rights? Okay.
There is founding fathers.
What do I want to know about the Bill of Rights? Something that you don't know and you've always wondered. And then I don't want you to put anything over here in the L, because that's what we're going to do at the end. You're going to write what you did learn. Okay? So maybe you'll answer your own questions of what you wanted to know, and that's what you've learned. So go ahead and get your name on it. And just take a few minutes and think about, and don't worry about if it's right or wrong, just what you think you already know about them. The Bill of Rights. You don't have to fill out, I gave you 5 spaces for each section. You don't have to fill out each one, but try to give me a couple things of what you know or what you want to know.
Something that you know be that there's writing on it.
It has writing on it. Okay. Okay. Think about who created them. Think about why they were created. Think about, if you broke it down, what are the Bill of Rights?
Created the presidents.
Okay.
That sign.
Just think about, why do we have
Was
them?
it the Constitution? Or
It's different.
was
It's a
it...
different page. Totally different.
No.
It's
It's It's part of it. It's part of it.
So did it have founding fathers?
Oh my goodness. Guess we'll find out. Maybe that should be one of your questions that you want to know. Or maybe you already know. No, just part of it.
What if I put, I want to know how to spell signature?
Do you know how to spell signature?
No.
You don't.
Okay, you're asking the question how to spell signature, but don't you have to write signature in that question?
Oh, good thought. Yes, you do, don't you?
Just look in the dictionary.
I don't want it.
You could put, and like, you could put signature, is this how you spell it, right?
Okay, so try to get a couple on each, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So if you get 2 or 3 on the K and the W, and then we'll get started. That's perfect, Hannah. Good job.
Random. 6 questions. 3 things you already know. 6 things is like 3. 6 altogether.
All right, Peyton, you want to work on your W, what you want to know. Having a dad as a college history teacher, there's probably not a whole lot that you want to
her
know.
dad calls her Scooty, and I'm Yogurt.
Oh.
He's
Sneak.
And then there's
Okay, so let's focus a bit. Let's, you know, anything,
Don't say that in front of the video.
anything you think of you want to know stuff that you don't know, that your dad hasn't taught you yet. Yeah, good question. How'd they come up with that?
There's a lot of things that he did not tell me about the Bill of Rights.
Because he was at college and you don't have very much time to ask him questions.
No, he has plenty of time to agree with me. Plenty. In the summer he has to do all that.
That's good.
I wonder if Peyton's dad has a doctorate.
Yep, he does.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
Okay,
He has
so
a what?
I'm gonna give you this, and
That's
we can.
really rare.
Okay, let's keep focusing, guys. Okay, so don't write anymore after you get this, okay?
the right of bills.
This is what we're gonna do. You can go ahead and flip through and kind of do a picture walk and see what the headings and see the different kinds of things we're gonna talk to. And
Oh, I've read this before.
That's
That's all I want to know, basically.
okay.
I almost read under
Okay. All right. So we're going to go through and read this together, the Bill of Rights. If you happen to come across something that catches your attention, is important, or answers what you want to know, highlight that so that you can come back. if there's something that when there's guaranteed to be stuff in here that you're going to learn, and mark it so that you can come back and put that that's what you've learned, okay? Something that you did not know. Alright, so let's start on page 4. I see that he just marked "we the people." This phrase is from the Constitution of the United States, and it contains the basic laws of the United States. But after it was drafted, the founders wanted a separate set of statements, and that's how we came up with the Bill of Rights. Okay. Anybody know what kind of text this would be that we're going to read? Fiction, informational. Okay.
Biography.
You think it might contain a biography about the fathers or the founding people, right? Or some of the presidents from back then?
Yep.
Okay. Is it fiction? Is it nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction. It really has happened, yes. Okay.
It's not big. You wouldn't have laws.
When people write books, there's 3 reasons they write them. It's either to persuade, to try to talk you into something. It's to inform, which is to tell you, which you said informational text, right? Which would be to inform, or to entertain. Funny books, horrors, those kind of things that entertain people. They don't want to put the books down. So, I bet we can guess what kind this one's going to be. Informational. Yeah, this one's going to inform us. Yep. Okay. All right. So let's start on page 4. And if you'll just read until you get to the next, we're going to read out loud, and we'll just go around. And if you can read till you get to the next heading, and then we'll have the next person take over. So, all right, Hannah, would you like to go ahead and start on page 4, please?
In 1969, the school district of
Des Moines. Yes.
Iowa got a lesson about freedom of speech. The district punished 5 students in 1965 for wearing black armbands to school. The students had worn the armbands to protest the
Vietnam.
War. The district told the students to remove the armband, but the students kept them on. As a result, they were suspended from school. 3 of the students and their parents filed a lawsuit against the district. The case was eventually decided by the Supreme Court of the United States.
Keep going.
The U.S. Supreme Court decided that the students had the right to wear the armbands. The court based its decisions on an amendment, change or correction to a written document to the U.S. Constitution. The court said the wearing of black armbands was a form of speech that was protected by the First Amendment. The First Amendment is a part of the Bill of Rights, a list of 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution that protect citizen freedoms. When Americans talk about their freedom, they often are talking about the rights protected under the Bill of Rights.
All right. So how many of you knew that there were 10 amendments to the Bill of Rights? Right? Yes.
We're not talking about the Bible.
So there are 10 amendments, and that is part of the Bill of Rights, and that is what allows people their freedom. So a lot of times, as you get older, you'll hear people refer to the amendments. Under the 5th Amendment, I have the right to. We'll get in here and discuss what each amendment means, but it's actually very interesting to see what each amendment covers. So. Okay, Peyton, can you go ahead and start reading under the highest law of land?
Yes. I just gotta highlight one thing.
Okay.
There we go.
One thing.
Go ahead.
The highest law of land. The Bill of Rights is part of the U.S. Constitution. The Constitution is the first and highest law of the country that was created when the United States was formed. all the other laws that get passed need to follow the principles in the Constitution. Where did the rights mentioned in the Constitution come from? The United States was originally a group of 13 colonies ruled by Great Britain. The American colonists felt that their rights were being ignored under the rule of the British King George III in 1975. They started a revolution for the next 8 years. The colonies fought a war against Great Britain and to win their independence. I'm sorry.
Okay. Gather yourself, Peyton, okay?
How's the war funny?
I don't know.
No, King George.
Mhm.
How's that funny?
Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. The colonists who helped create the United States of America were called the founders. The founders wanted to make a new government that would protect the people's rights. During the war with Great Britain, the founders created a confederation of states with a weak central government. They didn't want to give their leaders the same powers as kings, so they gave most of the powers to the United States. After the war ended, the founders realized that their system of government was not working. In 1787, they decided to change the system of government. They met in Philadelphia to write a constitution that would set rules and guidelines. For this new system, the founders hoped to give the central government more power without giving it so much power that it could take away people's rights and freedoms. The new constitution was finished in September 1787. By mid-1788, all but 2 of the states had approved it. The Constitution then became the law of the land, and George Washington became the first president.
Have you learned anything so far?
You know Franklin?
What?
No.
Okay.
He's on a heavy job.
Julia and the Bill of Rights.
The 2 states that voted against the Constitution were North Carolina and Rhode Island. They said that they would not approve the Constitution or join the government unless a Bill of Rights was added. Some of the founders warned that adding the Bill of Rights would be dangerous. They argued that creating a list of rights might make people think that any rights are not on the list are not protected. James Madison, a leading founder, agreed with this position. However, another important founder, Thomas Jefferson, had an opposite view. He said the Constitution needed a Bill of Rights. Madison and Jefferson were both from Virginia. Their home state had a Declaration of Independence in this Constitution. In fact, several state constitutions contained bills of rights. Jefferson said citizens' rights needed to be spelled out in the U.S. Constitution. Madison finally agreed. He set out creating a Bill of Rights. Madison used the Virginia Declaration of Independence as one of his models. Madison wrote a Bill of Rights that would create 20 amendments to the Constitution. Congress cut that number down to 12. Those amendments are given to the states in 1789. North Carolina and Rhode Island now believed that people's rights would be protected. By the end of 1791, the required 3/4 of the states had agreed to 10 of the 12 amendments. These 10 amendments became the Bill of Rights. What does
The Bill of Rights protects many individual rights. Let's look at some of the most important rights protected by the Constitution. The First Amendment protects freedom of speech. It also guarantees freedom of the press. In the religion, it says that citizens have the right to ask their government to change laws that they don't agree with. It also says that people are free to meet in groups for peaceful
Purposes. So what's the First Amendment protect? Freedom of speech.
I think I can.
All right, next.
Freedom of the press means that reporters have to share news and opinions with the public. In the 1700s, newspapers and other printed materials were the only sources of information today. Freedom of the press also protects information on the radio, television, and the internet. Freedom of religion is also an important First Amendment right. Many countries around the world have one official religion. The First Amendment says the United States can't do that. Americans are free to practice any or no religion as they wish.
Okay, so what else is part of the First Amendment? Freedom of speech and religion. Mm-hmm.
I'm a
That's right.
Christian.
And you have that right.
Person says I'm not.
Okay, go ahead and read the next page, and then we'll go next.
Another page for
Yeah,
me?
just one more page, please. What about the Second Amendment?
The Second Amendment is still widely debated today. It gives citizens the right to own and use weapons. Some people think this amendment was meant to apply just to
Militia.
militia groups such as the National Guard. Other people think the amendment gives all Americans the right to own and use weapons.
That's something we've
I
heard
agree.
about lately, haven't we? And everybody has a different opinion about it. So the Second Amendment is discussing. Second Amendment is the right to
Discuss.
Bear arms?
bear arms. The right to bear
Boom,
arms.
I have a flag of that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead and read the next one.
Me?
Yeah.
The Fourth Amendment says police officers can't search or arrest someone unless they have a good reason to think that person has committed a crime. Because of the amendment, the police must ask a judge to give them permission before they can search someone's property. Without this right, police officers could search people's homes, workplaces, or cars anytime for no reason at all, which would mean that people would have almost no right to privacy.
Okay. So if an officer is concerned about a house, and he wants to try to enter the home,
Yes, I
he
can.
has to have permission from a judge to be able to do that. He has to have a reason for doing that that's valid. So, okay, Hannah, you want to go ahead and read the next page?
3 parts of the Bill of Rights protect people who have been charged with crimes. Those parts are the Fifth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment, and the Eighth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment says that nobody can be forced to stand trial for serious crime unless a group of citizens agree that there's no good reason to think the person may be guilty of that crime. The criminal charge must be proved in court before the person can be punished in any way. Someone found not guilty of a crime cannot be charged again for the same crime. The Sixth Amendment says that a trial must be held as soon as possible. It must be a public trial and must be conducted fairly in front of a jury. The Eighth Amendment says that punishments for crimes can't be cruel and would not be involved.
Alright, so Fifth Amendment's just saying that, have you heard of jury duty? People being on jury duty?
Yeah,
Okay, so yes, she was on jury duty. So they pull people, random people from the community that make sure that they don't know the person who they're trying to charge, and they find out, they sit through the trial, listen to everything, and they give, whether they think the person's guilty or not guilty. So they also have to consider that. Cruel and unusual punishment, you've probably heard about that with the Eighth Amendment. Some of the things that they used to do were pretty harsh, but then they don't allow that anymore.
Would the citizens that it mentioned, would those be like the Ohio people that witnesses?
No, those are people that are part of the trial, but the citizens who are in on the jury are not people. They don't want people to know the person who committed the crime, because if let's say he commits a crime and him and I are friends and I'm on the jury duty, well, I'm not going to want him to get in trouble. So, I'm just going to say no, not guilty. So they try to get people who don't know the person who committed the crime. Okay, I'm going to read this part. Other important amendments. More than 200 years have passed since the Bill of Rights was created. During that time, many other amendments have been added. Today, the Constitution has 27 amendments, including many that protect people's rights. Two of the most important amendments in the 1800s were the 13th and 14th. They were passed after the Civil War. The 13th Amendment outlawed slavery in the United States. The 14th Amendment made all former slaves United States citizens. It also promised equal protection of the laws for all U.S. citizens, regardless of their race. The 14th Amendment was the key reason behind the Supreme Court decision that ended racial segregation of schools in America in 1954. Another important amendment was the 19th Amendment. This gave the women the right to vote. Women organized and fought for this right for more than 70 years before the amendment passed in 1920. There is no limit to the number of amendments Americans can make to their Constitution. It can be updated as necessary to keep up with changing times. The founders expected the Constitution to be amended, which means changed, over the years. They wanted it to be a living, changing document. Okay, so that's where we're going to stop with that. I'll tell you what, I learned some stuff. It's been a while since I have studied the Bill of Rights, and there's a lot of things that I learned with that. Okay? All right, so
Some of the punishments in a lot of people either got hanged, burned, or got their heads chopped off.
yeah, it was pretty cruel.
Or like a gem.
Pretty cruel punishment. So actually, I'm kind of glad they changed that.
I don't want my head chopped off.
Yeah.
I learned safe.
And they do it in public too, where everybody can watch it.
Right. It was a
Yeah,
public
imagine-
event. Yep.
Imagine a 5-year-old saying all that. Oh.
Yeah. It was pretty dramatic. So I'm glad that they changed that and put that amendment in place. All right. So what I want you to do
Yeah,
is,
one of the-
I would like you to hand me your booklets.
Here you go.
Okay. And go ahead and put in there go ahead and fill in the area of what you learned. I saw you guys highlighting a lot of different areas. So what did you learn that you did not know? Or did you answer any of your questions that you wanted to know?
What was Madison's first name?
No.
A lot of people call him
James. James, there you go. Yep. Okay, so you've got a few minutes before we go on to the next class to try to do some things that you learned. Or what?
How many minutes?
like there's 23 right now.
27.
4 off.
And see, I didn't know that. I thought that there was just the 10 amendments. I'm not much of a history person, so I haven't studied it since, oh my goodness, a couple years into college. So it's been a long time since I've studied history. So that's something I learned. I did not know that. I did not know that it could be changed. I thought it was one of those written in stone kind of things. Yep.
They have some
Yeah, see,
Amendments.
I was amendments of those amendments.
Amendments.
So one time I went to Gettysburg, and I think it's, I can't remember the name.
Mhm.
Greensburg.
Okay.
And they had stocks that you could, like, they weren't real stocks, but you could, like, take pictures of it, and I went and we did that.
Cool.
Oh, those things that you put your head in like that?
Mhm.
Oh,
That's neat.
so that's what stocks are. So that's what
Okay.
stocks
Alright, let's focus on this.
are. What amendment gave the right to speech? That was the first one, right? Freedom of speech.
To some extent, you have a freedom of speech. As a child and a student, there are some responsibilities and rights put in place, but you also have rules to follow too. We all have rights, but we all have rules too.
Yeah. So I can't talk.
I'm very tired. At least I'm learning history right now. That's my favorite subject, history.
Not as warfare history. I like reading. That was at lunch. Have we even eaten lunch yet?
Alright guys, you have about 5 minutes till it's time to go on the music. So, I'm gonna try to get a couple filled out of things you learned.
Was it the 6th or 16th amendment that gave that made it so that people couldn't like hang people?
The 6th. Yeah, because we didn't read about the 16th. We didn't go that far. Yeah, we just read through a couple different examples of amendments.
I wish we could bring the Constitution in here right now so we could just look at this.
Goddamn, do you know how much that would be?
All of
Goodness.
these.
Oh,
What if there's like one little smudge? You're like, and the police were coming, you're like, wow! Let's see here.
Benjamin.
It's Benjamin. And I can't.
Benjamin.
What did you say today?
I don't quite know how to spell the love.
Just do your best on your spelling.
You know, he's talking to someone in the small dictionary. Oh, there they are.
Oh, they're
Like,
oh,
a ton.
they're so small though.
What are you talking about? Put them all together and they're like 5 feet.
No
You
kidding.
finished, Hannah?
Yeah.
Okay. Try to get at least a 3 on what you've learned.